If you're a reseller, whether part-time, full-time, just getting started, and you have felt burnout, you're definitely not alone. Let's talk about that. So the question of whether or not I've had burnout in reselling came up in our Discord recently, and I have been there. So I've been burnt out at times in reselling. Probably it happens still from time to time, but I've had it at times worse than others, where you're just kind of feeling like exhausted from doing the same thing over and over again. Now, that being said, this is a dream job. This is what I love to do. I have it in my blood. I've bought and sold things since I was 8 years old on eBay. But still, it can be tough when, just there's certain triggers that happen. Like maybe you got your fourth return of something that week that just piled up for a total of like $500, and it's degrading. It's demoralizing. And it just makes you want to like stop. Like, so I've had times where I'm supposed to be listing, but instead I just watch, Minions in the background again. One of my kids' favorite movies right now. But yeah, it can be difficult to always be on the grind, to be productive, to be getting stuff done. So I want to talk about some things that I do when I'm at my best, and I think that some of the other resellers, like in our Discord, do when they're at their best, to avoid burnout and to keep things fresh and fun and interesting. So burnout, just to define it, is basically if you are really struggling to have motivation to get things done, if your productivity is decreased for a period of time, or if you just really don't have any desire to buy, to sell, to do any of it, and just want to sit back and do nothing. That's how I would define burnout. It can be extreme or subtle, but it can creep in at times. So I want to talk about how we can address burnout in our reselling businesses, myself included, and then some tips from other resellers in our Discord as well. Sky Guy put something in our eBay reseller chat in our Discord asking for some thoughts on this, and we've got some of those thoughts plus some of the notes that I've jotted down in thinking about it. So the first one that comes to mind is setting goals. So short-term and long-term goals. These things I think are extremely important. So you have your mind set to something. I think no matter where you are, whether that's business or personal goals, the long-term goal that we've had right now for a while that's very public to you guys is build the barn. So we're building the resell barn of my dreams, and we've been raising money and doing a lot of things like on Whatnot, eBay, Amazon, in order to build money and raise money for that. It's starting to happen out there, and it's very exciting, and it still keeps me going. And then there's short-term goals, which I like to have in the form of a checklist. So we have a program called Notion that we're using now, so we can have to-do lists for me, Alex, and Skylar all in one place. And to me, that's very satisfying to see, okay, this is high priority, this needs to get done. And after it gets done, I can check it off and realize that I've had a lot of productivity happening that day, and for me that definitely helps. So I would say have a checklist, have specific short-term and long-term goals, whether it's business or personal. You could have a goal of saving up to buy a property, or raising money to buy a house in cash,
or getting out of debt. There's a lot of people that are getting out of debt.
That's been a big one for Alpal right now. He's been working extra hours and he's grinding and killing it. So yeah, lots of good reasons to have long-term goals, and that can look different for each one of you. And next up, we've got, for me, it really helps to treat this thing as a real job. And what I mean by that is, how nobody ever sees this as a real job, right?
Define a real job. How many hundreds of thousands do you have to do in sales to be a real job?
Every time I talk to somebody from high school, college, or anywhere, and tell them what I'm doing for a living, they're like, oh, that's cool, so what does your wife do? It's like, this job gets no respect, and that's fine. I always get a chuckle out of that. I just say I sell video games online, That's what I do. But I take this very seriously, and the people around me, like my family, my wife, my friends, they know that, like, in the time frame of 7 to 4, Monday to Friday, I'm at work. Like, that's when I'm getting things done. I keep it to 40 hours a week because I want to keep my priorities as with my family and otherwise, and I think that's another way to help avoid burnout, is to have your priorities in line and realize why you're working. And for me, that's so that I can spend time with my family and friends outside of work. And just realizing that, okay, it's 7 to 4 is when you work and get things done. The hours outside of that, you cannot. For me, that helps. Sometimes we'll have an evening thing, but it's pretty rare. But if you don't have set hours, you can be like, well, I don't have to get it done now because I could get it done later. I think it's easy to justify just taking a nap or watching a movie or doing anything other than working or being productive in those hours if you don't treat it as like a real job. So that's helped me. Maybe that could help you consider implementing that if you're struggling with burnout. All right, and the next one I have is keeping it interesting by diversifying how you buy and how you sell. So buy in different avenues, buy in ways that keep it fresh, that keep it interesting, that keep you on your toes. So in my case, you know, I love going to garage sales, but if I'm only ever going to garage sales, that might get a little tiresome or old. Maybe not for me because I love garage sales, but I do like to mix in things like meeting up with Hobby Shop Ron, meeting Game Barn Justin, going to game stores and thrift stores and other ways, just to keep it fun and interesting, keep it fresh.
So for people that don't have a lot of established connections, what could that look like? Could it be like local auctions? Could it be
100%.
online auction? I mean, I'm trying to think of some.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, there's other ways that I haven't tried yet that I do want to try, and Skylar's bringing those up with local auctions. So just live auctions. Go out to an all-day live auction. They're around here. They're pretty much in most towns, and if they're not in your town, they're probably within an hour of you. Go to storage auctions. That would be fun. That could be interesting. You know, a different way to source. You can look online for storage auctions that are happening online. Just mix it up, keep it fresh and interesting.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, Marketplace is everywhere. So that's another one. Craigslist. There's just so many ways that you can source and keep it interesting. And then as far as selling goes, I like selling on kind of the big three for us, Amazon, Whatnot, and eBay. And we put a lot more time and energy into Whatnot lately because it's really fun. It's a good way to engage with you guys, with the community, and that's brought new life to selling in a different way. And then eBay, we've had challenges and goals in our Discord that have been fun and interesting to pursue. So, you know, and then if Amazon is slowing down, which for us this year it is a little bit, then the other ones might be picking themselves up and making up for all that ground. So getting discouraged doesn't really happen as much, especially if you reduce risk and diversify and have all these different things going on. So those are just some thoughts on kind of diversifying to keep it fresh and interesting, and also to reduce risk.
Can I say something that I enjoy?
Absolutely, brother.
Hi there, Sky Guy here. One of the things that I really like doing is gamifying whatever I can. And you guys can probably see it in the videos, but even just like personally or for my hobbies, I like to gamify something. So for you, it might be, okay, how many, like, I mean, we've done it in videos actually, how many Wiis can we clean and test in an hour? Yeah. Like things like that, setting just mini goals throughout your day to help you process through inventory. Like, okay, I know I normally get through I list a stack of games in a couple hours. Maybe I can do it in half that time, or how many can I really push myself? Just because, one, you're not going to grow if you don't stretch yourself. So it's a good way to grow on top, and you're going to feel more accomplished. But two, another way to spice it up.
Yeah, just keeps it fun and interesting. I love that. And 4 other very specific things that came up in our Discord when we asked were full-time job and listing. So if you have a regular job plus you're doing a side hustle, that can be that can lead to burnout. That can be exhausting. And then just listing burnout in general. So not wanting to list. Sourcing competition, it can be very discouraging when you go to a garage sale or you see something on Facebook Marketplace and somebody just barely beats you to it. And then high dollar returns and fraud, and that happens a lot on Amazon. So really those things all just lead to discouragement. A lot of them, there's no perfect answer because they're going to happen. But I think the last point that I'm going to bring up will cover most of them to some extent and will help ease the pain a little bit. The last and most important point for me to avoid burnout is connecting and keeping friends and family involved as much as possible in the business. Now, in different phases of life or different places in the world, this might look different for everybody, but you guys could see in the way that we've done videos for the last 6 years, I've almost always had my friends involved. We've been able to garage sale together. Skylar and Alpel now work with me. I was full-time by myself for 4 years before that. So I've been full-time for 6, and before that I was part-time for another, I've been 20 years total, so another 14 years. So I've done it by myself for a long time. But even when I was by myself, as far as paid goes, I brought my friends into the garage sailing days. So those fun times, honestly, we had some of the best times we ever had in our friendships by just having awesome adventures going out garage selling. And of course, we'd mix in other fun things while we're doing that.
Like dressing up and going to Toys
Yeah.
R Us as they
Being
close.
goofy, making garage sale battles, and punishing the losers. Definitely just always keeping it fun and interesting. And I would say, you know, if you don't have those close friends or family that you can bring in, find them elsewhere. So like our community on Discord, for me, and I think for a lot of the people in our Discord, has been huge, because a lot of times people really don't understand what you do. If you're just talking about your local immediate circle, people just don't really get it. But when you expand that circle, you go to a bigger pond, there's a lot of people that do get it. There's a lot of people that do this full time, a lot of people that know exactly what you're going through. And I think just having that community is absolutely essential to be successful in this business for a long period of time, especially. So if you don't have the community, if you're looking for it, I definitely recommend joining our Discord. I'm very proud of some of the members of the community that we've established, just the encouragement that is within the group. It's amazing. It's an awesome thing to be a part of. So I encourage you to join that if you don't have it, if you're feeling burnout at all. We would definitely love to have you. And we always say you got to put in the work if you want to see the results and get connected. But every single person that's been active in the Discord and connected with the community has seen their business grow exponentially.
I will say, just knowing the stats, and sorry if this is coming off as like pitching this to you guys, but there is a direct correlation between the activity that people have had and how well their businesses are doing.
There really is.
Like it's pretty it's interesting, but it makes sense because they're the ones that are asking questions. They're the ones that are trying to learn. They're the ones reaching out for help. Yeah.
It's keeping yourself motivated and surrounding yourself with other people that are too, to encourage you and pull you along if they have to, or just build you up and push you in the right direction. It's huge in personal life. It's huge in business life. I love the Lord, so I keep all of my Christian brothers like Sky Guy, Alpal Thane, my brother Dave. We always want to point each other, in our case, towards Christ. And then in business, point each other towards working hard, towards being productive, towards getting things done. I think that's a huge, huge thing in life and in business. And if you don't have it, you need it. So that's it for this one. It's just been a topic that's been brought up a lot in YouTube comments, in the Discord, and we wanted to address it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got something from it. If you did, put the most valuable thing that you got down below. Subscribe for the CATRP crew videos behind the scenes of reselling full-time. Bar will do.